Okay, so we're going with, we missed a few minutes here in the beginning. Just a quick review though, we did cover the Author Central where you can create your own author page with a biography and a picture, and you can create your own blog, which is really great promotion. We covered a little bit on digital text, which is, this is Kindle, how you can quickly submit your PDF and have a Kindle book. And then we talked about the Published Authors Network, WritersNet, Library Thing, and Goodreads. These are all just other author resources where you can go and communicate with other authors, you can get review copies, and you can network with other published authors and actually get your book listed on these other websites. And like I said, there's going to be a link that you'll be able to get to this PDF. That way you'll have all the links and everything so you can get to those. So let me drop out of this. Oh, and I should have done this in the beginning, and I actually I forgot to do it, so let's take a look at it now. Let me bring up another website. Now, I know some of you actually submitted your books to us that you've published, and we've asked if you've published a book, we've asked that you can send an email to quadcashsupport@gmail.com, and in the subject just put published author, and then give us a link to either your Amazon link or your CreateSpace link, because we've created a Hall of Fame, a published author section, and we definitely want to put your book in. I'm going to bring that up for you here. It's under Quad Cash Profit System /authors. And what we're going to do is, for everybody that uses the system and publishes a book, we're going to give you some press and some publicity here, because as we move forward and as this system grows and as we launch it to more and more people, if your book's on here, obviously people are going to see your book, and there's a potential that if somebody likes it or sees it, they'll be able to click on it, because everybody's going to have access to this. This is a public website. It's actually off the main. You can even go to quadcashprofitsystem.com. You can see that we were locked down as private. We're not taking any new customers, but the Hall of Fame is right here. So there's actually a link right off the main page that takes you to the published authors. So what we're going to do is, if you're not on here and you have published a book, like I said, go to send an email to quadcashsupport@gmail.com. In the subject, put published author, and give us a link to either your CreateSpace if it's not live on Amazon, or if it's live on Amazon, give us that link. And all these books are linked. Like if I bring up, we got James here. He's already done 2. He did one on the 20th and one on the 26th. And the neat thing is, we link these right to your Amazon account. So if I click on this, anybody that sees this can immediately go out and buy James's book, The Hungry Diabetic. So we're going to be doing that for all of our published authors that utilize the system. So as you can see, we got James. I clicked on this book again. Tyrell's got 3 books already published. He did one on the 8th, the 9th, and the 11th, so he's got 3 of them out already. Joe's got 2 out, excuse me. Christine, Sandy, Dave, and Dave's got 2 books out. So if we missed you, if you didn't see your name on here and we missed you, please do send that email in, and we will get you published on here immediately. All right, let me now, I got some questions that came in prior to the call, so I'm going to, let me grab a few of these, and then we'll jump into the main questions that we have on the call tonight. Todd actually wrote in and asked, he asked about the Primo PDF compiler. Does it have a feature for the pages to be numbered after it turns out the Word document? Todd, if you're on the call or if you're listening to this after the fact, the PDF compiler, just all it's doing is it prints to a PDF file. That just prepares it for Amazon. The actual numbering occurs in either Word or OpenOffice. If your template doesn't have the numbers on the bottom, all you have to do is in the bottom of your footer, you can insert page numbers. So you just automatically insert the page numbers in your document. It has nothing to do with PDF at all. It's actually directly handled in either OpenOffice or Microsoft Word. Let's see, how do you usually... Let's see, he's also asking, How do you usually format the text of your books? Do you make it like any other physical book with each starting line of a paragraph indented, no spaces, or do you format your text like a typical ebook with no indentation? Todd, that's actually totally up to you. You are the publisher, the author of the book. If you want to do indentations on your paragraphs, if you want a double space or space and a half, I do all my books. I typically just leave them flush on the margins. I don't indent, and I do 1.5 spaces, so it actually makes it easier for the people to read the book. Okay, let's move on here. Mark is asking about hosting plans, which doesn't directly relate to it, but it kind of does. He's asking, do you have any advice regarding hosting plans, especially which hosting options are important if you intend to hold a book or site versus flip a book or site? He uses HostGator, which allows unlimited domains. Mark, what you're doing is perfectly fine. Using the baby plan, you can host unlimited domains. That gives you the ability to, you could easily zip up the site and transfer it to somebody, as well as you can easily add on if you want to just create a page for promotion. So what you're doing is perfectly fine. So just a standard HostGator baby plan works fine. You don't need dedicated hosting per domain. That's too expensive, and you're not going to need that kind of horsepower in order to do that. Okay. Let me open my question window here so I can see everybody. Could you go into details how to add your own graphics for your book cover instead of the generic covers offered by Amazon? Keith, if you want to design your own actual book cover, you have two options. You can use a graphics editor, and you create a page that's basically 6 by 9, because that's the size of the outside of your book. It's 6 inches by 9 inches. So if you have either Adobe or some other kind of graphics program, you can make a graphic. There's actually a cover, even in the cover creator, where you can upload an image for the front and the back. You don't have to use the stock. You can use the cover creator, but you don't have to use their layout. You can actually design your own graphic for the front and the back cover. Or a second option you have is you could outsource your cover to somebody. If you had a book that you were really passionate about, that you didn't want to use a standard cover creator, I actually just designed I have a brand new book coming out next week that's really big for my offline community, and so I had a cover designed, and I got the whole front and the back and everything designed for $25, and it's all ready, and all I had to do is I used the cover creator, and I just uploaded my file, and it just automatically mapped it in there for me. But I didn't actually use one of their stock layouts for this particular book. So those are your two options. You can design it yourself, or you can actually outsource it. And if people are interested, you can just shoot a question there. If you're interested, I can give you the lady's email. She's really great. She's in South Korea. She turned the cover around in about a day, and it was only $25. And it was really creative. You know what? Since you guys are on the inside in a private group here, nobody knows about this book, so please don't go and share anything about this book yet, because it's not released. It's a new project I'm working on, but I'm going to just show you how creative this lady was. And for $25, I had this cover design. Let me find my cover, and I'm going to show you. Now, I ask, please, that you don't go off and tell people about this, because nobody really knows about this. Let me open it up, and I'm going to show everybody here. So you guys are in a sneak peek of my new cover. This is one I'm using from my offline tactics. This is how I get a lot of offline customers, because I add value as a published author. So I basically told this girl I wanted a cover that really stood out, that really would catch somebody's eye. And I told her kind of to want to, do something like a crime scene type thing. So my book is on search engine optimization. So, you can see that the title is very graphic, page 1 or die. And that's basically how I feel about, website optimization. If you're not on page 1, you're basically wasting your time for offline businesses. So she came up with all this on her own. She did the general layout, and I made a few tweaks to the font. I just wrote her back and said I'd rather have this bold. She designed the backup. So all I had to do with CreateSpace, I just uploaded this graphic. So I didn't do anything different. I still used the cover creator, but I just uploaded this image. So now when my book comes, this will be the front cover, and this will be the back cover. And you can see it's really going to stand out. And I use this, like I said, as a money magnet in the offline world. I'll send this to presidents of companies, and I'll sign it. I'll do a signed copy. And typically, I've gotten over 80% success rate where I'll get an appointment after I send them a copy of the book. Because I put the price of the book right on it. Down here, I put $27.97. So when they get this, they know that I'm a published author, so I already have credibility. I become an expert, and I've given them a almost $28 gift. So when I call, they know who I am already. So it's kind of like it's not a cold call at that point. It's a warm call, and typically, like I said, 80% of the time I get a meeting with the owner of the company. So there's another option for you to get covers. And if people are interested, I will give her name out because I think she does phenomenal work. You can see how great this cover is for only $25. All right, so there's graphics. So Keith, I hope that covered enough of your question there with the graphics and kind of how to do that, what were your options. Let's see, Joyce, you're asking, would it be a good idea to look at similar best-selling books for your genre and use some of the most popular tags? Joyce, you know what, that is an excellent idea, and I should have covered that, but I'm glad you're paying attention. That is an excellent idea. When you want to search your market for whatever your book is in, whatever niche, whatever market it's in, and take a look at the popular tags on that book, because those books are showing up in the top. You want to look at your top 10 and go and grab all of those tags that are in the top 10 and make sure you have all of those tags on your book. So Joyce, that's an excellent question and an excellent point you made there. All right, Keith has another question. If you're using a pen name, how is that going to work if you create an author bio box with a picture and you are in a dozen different niches? Won't that affect your expert author status? I would just suggest that the author page would be reserved for books that you're going to actually keep with your name on them. Like I created an author page for the one that I put my names on. I'm not going to probably create an author page for a book that I'm going to use a pen name or a book that I'm going to flip, because I don't see any point. Like you said, you're going to have your pictures all over, and people are going to be confused. Is this Keith? Is this Dave? Is this Jim? Especially if you're using your picture, because you're not going to want to use somebody else's picture. So I would suggest that you only use the author profile if it's for your own personal book, or if you're going to strictly write under a pen name and your picture is associated with that pen name. I don't know, some of you know Eben Pagan in the internet marketing world. He does it. He has a pen name for his dating products, and his picture's associated with that name. So he'll stick with that. But yeah, definitely, I would take that into consideration. Wendell is asking what font size. The font, I typically try to use about 12 font because I think that's real easy to read. I'll use the 12 font, and I'll full justify the page, and I'll do page 1.5 spacing. So it puts a little line in between. 12 font's a good size for people to be able to read, and I think it's very easy for people to read. All right, let's see. Fran, you have to wait 60 days to resell domain name per HostGator. That I have not. You're not selling a domain, so I'm not quite sure what, Fran, you may want to clarify that. You have to wait 60 days to resell domain name per HostGator. I haven't run across that. That may be something, a policy to have if you're hosting an account and then you transfer it to somebody else, but I have different servers and different accounts, and I've moved domains in between them and never had a problem. But Fran may know something I don't, so maybe you want to clarify that, Fran, if you're aware of a new policy or something in effect that doesn't allow you to move a domain quickly. Because the domain actually isn't owned by HostGator. HostGator is just your hosting. Your domain goes through your domain register, which would typically be like GoDaddy or Network Solutions. That's where you register your domain name. And I can buy a domain name today and transfer it to somebody tomorrow. So, like I said, unless you know something I don't know about HostGator, I'm not quite sure there. So you can send me some more info on that. Faye is asking, are we going to receive the upgraded PLR system soon? I believe I've seen a beta copy of it. of the new software, I believe you're talking about, Faye, and I believe it's supposed to be ready in the next 30 days. I know they're working hard on it. It's close to being done because they're putting a lot of new features that we've asked for to make it a lot easier. So that's definitely on. It's coming soon. All right, Marjorie, would you please give us a little lesson to show us how to transfer a site to a buyer? That it would probably be more than a lesson to do on this call. It would probably take the rest. Well, it wouldn't take the rest of this call, but it would take a good 10 to 15 minutes. Basically, when you're transferring a site, when it's a WordPress site, all you have to do is go into WordPress and back it up, and you save all the files, and you can compress the files and email the files to somebody. It's really not that hard of a process. There's a little bit involved on their side to set up a new blog and then import the data, but it's probably, I think it's a little too technical for me to get into and show it here. Plus, I don't have a site that I can easily get into to show you how I could transfer it. But it's really not. I know that the video. If the video is not giving you clarity and you're at that point, you get stuck, send the Quadcast support at Gmail, and we'll definitely help you if you're trying to transfer a site and you run into any problems. Marquise, where did you get the design done? I actually found my designer on Odesk. Odesk is an outsourcing site. I just posted a listing that I wanted a 6x9 book cover, a graphic design, the front and back cover. And I got tons of responses, and this girl just happened to stand out. And you could probably get somebody cheaper. I had cheaper bids, but I really liked her portfolio. You could probably get it done as cheap as 10, 15. I paid the 25 because she was really good, and I actually had her redesign my business card to match the book cover because I wanted to have a synchronous look and feel to it. So you could probably get the covers designed. I know I had bids that were $10 to $15. I'll actually, you know what, if people, let me kind of skip the questions. Are people interested in seeing the Odesk? Are people interested in outsourcing? Because if you are, just put a Y or yes, and I'll jump over to Odesk real quick and kind of show you what I did. Okay, so I'm getting quite a few yeses here from everybody. Okay, let's do that. Let me jump into my account, and I'll show you the ad I put. I mean, it was really a basic ad, and I think I still have it running. I don't even think I closed it, to be honest. Openings and business card I put out. That was when I created for her. Okay, so here's all I did. I put graphic creation book cover 6x9. So that was my title. And you can see I actually didn't close it. I got 20 people that applied to this job, so I have 20 different people I could choose from. So all you do is I'll show you the actual job posting here once it loads up. Let me bring the job up here so you guys can see my text. It was really basic. This is all I literally wrote. I need a 6x9 book cover design, front and back. I will supply the concept. You supply the creativity to make. That's all I wrote. You can see it's nothing rocket science there. I didn't map a whole lot out for what she did. And you know, my subject was graphic creation book cover 6x9. And then I have, let me go back to the people that applied, and I'll show you what happens is all these people apply, and they'll tell you exactly, here's what they're going to charge. Like, here's a guy down here that would do it, a beer. He's from Pakistan. He offered to do it for $10. Now, he may be great. I just happen to like her portfolio, and I went with her. But here's a chance that I could give this guy a shot for $10, and he might do a great job. So here's somebody else out of India, Philippines, you know, $22, $25. Here's somebody at $17, you know, $27, so they go, you know, a little higher. Here's another person for $11 in India. You know, her stuff may be great. So I got 20 different people that are saying, yeah, we'll design your cover, and you got all these prices. So all I got to do is I can click interview, and I can talk to this person. I can say, hey, send me some more samples. And then when I'm ready, I just hire them. And once you set up an account's free in Odesk, and all you have to do is you can just attach a credit card to it. And when the job's done, you just say the job's complete, and you pay them the $25, and they send you all the graphics. And it's actually great. You can get tons of great people that work here. So you can get them to, if you guys are looking for people to put your books together and do all that for you, it's another good place where you can find people to do that. But this is definitely a great place where you can, if you want your cover design cheap. And and I didn't see this because I had her design it. She jumped on quick, and I had it designed last weekend. I may get a hold of this guy anyway to see what kind of work he does. And for $10, if I can get book covers done for $10, and they're as creative as what she did, that's a heck of a person to hold on to. And then you can create them, then you save them as a favorite. Next time you want a cover, you just get in touch with them, and you can get your covers turned out really quickly. All right, let me backtrack on the questions now that we jumped forward. Alrighty. Okay, so that was where did you get the design? You're interested now? Okay. Thank you, Kate. I just saw the cover. Yeah, I wanted the cover to really stand out. Yeah, she did excellent. Fantastic, fantastic. What's her name? Her name was, I will tell you her name. Let me go to my assignments, and I can provide her, all right, let's go over here to ended. Her name was Kelly Kim. She was a graphic designer. Actually, I'm sorry. Apparently, I only paid her $22.22, so it was actually $20, and I paid the Odesk fee of $2.22, so she actually netted $20 out of it. Here's her. She has her profile. I gave her excellent rating because she did fantastic. So it actually, I'm sorry, it ultimately cost me $22.22, and she bid basically $20 to do it, and I decided to pay the fee for her. And then I had her turn around and do my business card as well because she did such a great job. All right, does she do ebook covers? Todd, I am sure, she's a graphic designer, so if you tell her the size, she can create a graphic for anything. She uses Photoshop, so if you give her the specifications, I'm sure she could do it as well. Or you can post your job out here and see what other kind of, and all you have to do is once you become a member, you just go to My Jobs, post a job, and the job title, you saw what I did. I put graphic creation, and then down here you saw I just typed 2 little sentences, front and back cover, and then you give them a general idea. You say a fixed price. You could come down here and say, you know what, my budget is only $15. 158. I probably get a lot of people to bid on that. So you put in there $15, and people, I think I put $20, and you saw people were bidding 10, 25, 20, 17. So you give them a general idea of what you're looking for. That way you can have a general price range, and then your estimated end date. You just put, you pick when you'd like it to be done, and that's it. You put post it puts it out there, and usually within minutes you're going to have people applying to it, and then you start looking at them, and then you can hire somebody. Would be great. She did. I want to thank you, Marjorie. You got Jim. Would like to have the contact info. If you guys want, I can actually. I believe she works through Odesk, but she probably accepts PayPal. So I could ask her if she wouldn't mind if I gave her email out to everybody. If you guys want to contact her that way, you wouldn't necessarily have to work through Odesk. You could hire her directly if that's what you choose. Okay, let's see, Alex, we're all insiders, I think. Can you put up the designer's contact info on the whiteboard? I'm going to check with her, Alex, before I overwhelm her with tons of emails. I know she does great work, and she tends to be quite busy. So let me just make sure I'll hand her email. But worst case, I use Odesk, and you'll be able to find other talented artists on here as well. How do you do, okay, Fran's asking, how do you do the pen name? Does Amazon ask you? Amazon doesn't ask you anything. The pen name merely means when you publish the book on CreateSpace, when you actually input your information on that first step 1, when you put your book title, your subtitle, your description, at the bottom of that page, it asks for the author's name. And you can type anything you want in there. You can make up any name you want. So the pen name doesn't make a difference anywhere. If you want to just pick one pen name and write all your books under that, or if you want to pick multiple pen names, like when you guys saw me create the book on the call, when we did the initial webinar. I just picked a random name. Well, what I tend to do when I play around with that, I'll use my first and middle initial. I'll use KM, and I usually throw a different last name on it. So I feel that I still have a little signature on it a little bit, but then I'll change the last name. So obviously it could be Smith or Johnson or Jones or anything you want to be. There's no restrictions on what the name can be. Let's see, okay, Tamar's asking full justify. When I say full justify, you know what, let's bring up the template. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about so that way we can understand. Here is the book template. So, and that's not the one. That's not the right one. Let me find the right one for you. Here it is. Okay, so the book template comes and you have your title and your author stuff, your subtitle, your quote, your little disclaimer. You'll have your table of contents. When I say full justify is, so I have my heading of my chapter, so that'll be a heading, and I'm going to come down here for my body. And let's say, you know, just for the sake of, let me try to get some text in here. I should just grab an article. You know what? Let me make this more relevant. You guys can actually get a sneak peek. So I'll let you guys in on you. I can't let you know all my content. I'll let you a sneak peek on some of it. This is my actual book that got published. Now, somebody asked about pictures. You can see this book. I decided to opt with pictures. I put pictures in, but they're black and white. So I can order copies of this book for $3.66. That's why I still think it's economical that I can send these out to people because it's so cheap. All right, let's look at this page. What I mean by full justify is, let's go down to this page. Here, see how it's full justified means it lines up on the left and it lines up on the right. It's all boxed, nice and neat. If it's not full justified, it's usually left justified. See the difference? See how it's all kind of scraggly over here? And to me, that doesn't look very nice. I don't like it the way like that. So all you have to do is if you pick your entire paragraph or your text, and either in Word or OpenOffice, you have left justify, center, which centers everything. You can right justify, which bumps it to the right. Or the last one is full justify, which makes it nice and pretty and makes a nice box, very professional. So that's what we mean by full justify. Okay, let's jump. If you want to sell the site and the book. Okay, Fran, I guess that's going back to your HostGator. If you want to sell the site, like I said, I'm not aware of any regulations or stipulations or policies. It's your hosting account, and the domain is actually in a separate place. So you own the domain, and you're just using the hosting spot. So if you go ahead and you zip up your package, if you zip up all your data files that are in your website, and you send that to somebody and you transfer the domain through, if it's GoDaddy, you simply you push it to them. You own that stuff. So there shouldn't be any restrictions. There wouldn't be a 60-day waiting period because you have full rights to everything. At least I've never had a problem with that. So, okay, let's move on. Tomorrow, Fran. Okay. All right, we got keep your primary domain and set up a separate sub-account. They will help you. Yeah, you're absolutely right on that. Fran's good now. These are additional PLR articles. Jim, I'm assuming you mean with the new software. If you just want to send back in, I'm guessing that's what you're saying. All right, let's jump down here. Wendell, is there an easier way to do the chapters other than the cut and paste on the Ultimate PLR software? Would be nice if the chapter titles could stay in place. You know what, Wendell? That is one of the major things that I've told James about the software. So with a new piece of software, we're actually trying to build it. So when you export it from the software, the book titles are already going to be on there. So that is one piece that they're definitely going to have in the new software, because that was my biggest headache as well, where you got to cut and paste. That I actually used, I don't know if you guys, which call you were on, but my book publishing record has varied, and I've actually, with the new software that keeps the titles on, I did a book the other night in 7 minutes and 45 seconds. So by having those titles, it speeds me up, because my best record before that was 9 minutes and 44 seconds. So by having the title on there, I actually did a book in 7 minutes and 45 seconds. So it does make a big difference. All right, let's move on. I get the idea. So, okay, Marjorie's good. I found an author there as well. $3 book. Okay, Marquise and the Philip. Yep. All right, so we got our yeses. Okay, Joyce. No, tried getting work from them for a while. Not quite sure what you meant there, Joyce. If you want to clarify that, I'm not quite sure what you meant. Keith Wood, what would you outsource person charge to transcribe audio to document? Could really, well, that's Marjorie. You might have saw the one there that I hired a girl to do that. I had an audio file that was about 86 minutes, and I believe she charged me $3 an hour, and I think it took her 8 hours. So it cost me $24 to get a 86-minute audio transcribed. Most transcription places charge 10 times that amount. So you can definitely, Odesk is a great place to post a listing for somebody that you want transcription. What I'm going to do with that, that's kind of another technique I haven't talked about, is I had a really good audio article that I got my hands on that I have rights to, and I want to turn it into a book. So I had 86 minutes of audio, so I said, well, I'm just going to pay somebody, $3 an hour to transcribe this for me, and that's what I did. So for $24, I have I think it equated to, I'm not quite sure, but it's over a 200-page book because of the, so that's another power of being able to use outsourcers. It would have taken me forever to try to do that myself, and most companies that do it charge a lot more than that. So yeah, I found another person on Odesk that transcribed it for me. Let's see. Hey guys, I have about a dozen books published online, different niches. Can I simply use them with this model without making any alterations? Absolutely, Dean. You can apply any of the concepts we give you of things that you already have on there, and that'll help boost them up as well. Tamar, how much did she charge for a business card? The business card, I think she ended up doing, I said, hey, why don't you, I think it was $20 as well. I think I offered her $20 to go and do the business card as well for me, and then I ordered those. Jim, Odesk is for graphics or other. Jim, Odesk is for anything you could think of. Odesk is for article writers, for secretaries, for virtual assistants, for website people, graphics. I mean, anything you can think of technical-wise, you can probably post a job and you'll find somebody that's competent. Now, there's potentially you're going to get people that'll say they can do something. Like that guy that said he'd do it for $10, he might be terrible. He might produce a very terrible product. So you got to definitely, sometimes you're going to get that, but you got to take a look at, you may have to go through one or two. I got lucky with the girl. I looked at her portfolio. I thought she was creative, and I used my best judgment on that. And I do the same thing with everybody. I'm going to look at their portfolio. If it's an article writer, I'm going to make them submit articles to me that I know that they can write. I'll give them a topic. I'll tell them, go write natural weight loss. Go write me a 250-word article on that. And then I'll check it to make sure they didn't go out and just copy it from the internet. So you're definitely going to have to interview people, check their work. But basically, you can find anything you can imagine on Odesk. You could hire somebody on Odesk to take your PLR software. You could basically send them the video training that we have, that you have, and tell them, I want you to watch the push-button video training. I want you to take this piece of software, and I want you to create one book an hour for me, because within an hour they can easily do it. You can essentially hire these people for $2 an hour. So in a matter of one day, you could have 8 books, and you could just hire somebody for the day and just say, go write me 8 books, and then publish 8 books. So you totally think about the time that you would have spent yourself, where you could hire somebody to do that like that for you. And if you want to do that on a full-time basis, you just keep having people churn out books for you. All right, let's graph. So we got that. Can you publish a book on Amazon and go back and modify the cover? Yeah, Joyce, once you have full control, you are the publisher, the author of the book. Once it's published, you can actually go into Create Space, and you can put the book on hold. That means no more copies can be sold. You can upload a new cover, and you can change the inside if you want. You have full creative rights to it, and you can change anything you want at any point. Alex, there's a site online with suggested pen names. I don't know if you're asking me if there is or if you're telling me there is. So there probably is a site that will give you some ideas of different names you can put together. Let's see, Fran, do you put anything about you, author, in the book when you use a pen name? No, Fran, I don't. If I use a pen name, I don't use an author page. It's because, to me, it's one thing to use a pen name to just put a different name. It's another thing, I think, if you're going to be, if you're going to use that pen name for all of your books and you're creating a personality and the personality is based on you, then yes, I would do it. If I'm going to just create books that I'm potentially maybe going to get rid of or that are not directly related to me, then I wouldn't do an author page, because to me that would be a little deceptive. I wouldn't do it personally. Let's see, do you put in, okay, tomorrow, thank you, that's new to me. Okay, back to formatting. What about new paragraph spaces? Recommended, or do you stay? You just paragraphs, yeah, I would just, after the 1.5, I think it comes out to be a double space after the paragraph. It just looks clean. You say to set up a different email account for each book, but how do you transfer? Keith, all you do is when you're setting up a brand new account, you're getting a free account. So whether it's Gmail or Hotmail or Windows Live or Yahoo, you create a brand new email account with that email and that password. All you have to do to transfer that to somebody is you just give them that email address and the password to it. So just like the ones I created on the calls with you guys, when you saw me do a book, that was just a Gmail account and a password. So the people that won those books on the call just got the Gmail email and the password. So they can just log in, they can change the password, they can do whatever they want. They basically take over the account for you. It's that simple. Richard, transfer the hosting account, but obviously that's not what she wants. Okay, yeah, Wendell, all right, Bravo. Elaine, will we be able to upgrade? Elaine, I don't know if you're talking about the software. If it is the software, you're going to get the software for free. You have lifetime upgrades on the software, and you'll never have to pay for that. The PLR, okay, Alex, the PLR software people keep referring to is, yes, the James Jones PLR software, Alex, that's what he allows us to package with our product. Tamar, I guess we've impressed Tamar here. Unbelievable, wow. All right, let's see. Should you promote your book on Amazon separately to Amazon? Tomorrow, I guess if you're asking should you promote it off of Amazon, you can if you want, or you can let it, if you do the things I've showed you with the tagging and that kind of stuff, if you get the reviews, that's going to get it to really filtrate up there at the top of the list. Promoting it off, that's just going to help it. So anything you do outside of that, if you have another blog, or if you're on any forums, or any of those other author forums that are in the PDF that I showed you, if you put a link to your book, it's just another way people can find it. So the more places you put your book in front of people, the more chance you're going to sell copies of the book. Let's see, Keith's got, when you use tail articles, did I understand that you don't edit them at all? Keith, there's been cases where I've grabbed just a bunch of articles that are relevant to each other, to the topic, just like on the initial call, and I'll put them together, and I'll double check them. I'll usually read through it and make sure they look all right. But a lot of times, yeah, I won't rewrite them. I'll just grab a collection of 15 or so, or 12 or 15, and as long as they're within the same niche and they make sense to fit together, and then I'll publish a book that way. So you don't have to rewrite them if you don't want to. But it's a good idea just to double check them to make sure they're all relevant and they all flow nicely. Jim, audio. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's keep going here. Jim, you said audio is gone. Can everybody still hear me? I guess I've been talking here. Nobody's popped up saying they can't hear me. Okay, so Tamara's saying, yeah, all right, so I'm still coming across. Okay, that's good. I want to make sure I didn't drop the line. Okay, let's see. All right, Marjorie, well, I've spent hours trying to find software to help me transcribe the audio for myself. Outsource looks good. Yeah, outsource is great, Marjorie. You wouldn't believe the stuff you can get done with outsourcing, and a lot of people think that it takes a lot of money to put a team together or whatever, but you got to think about the time and the amount of money and the effort that you potentially could be losing, or if if you focused on transcribing yourself, or even some people for writing the books, or the cover. If you want a cover that stands out like I did, I could have spent a whole day. To do that kind of cover probably would have taken me a whole day to play around with graphics, and to hear somebody that does graphics all the time, and I got it done for $22. It's ridiculous that I would have wasted a whole day, probably 6 to 8 hours, and I got it done for $22. So outsourcing The same thing with the transcription. To pay only $3 an hour, even though it took her 8 hours, I mean $24 to go through an hour and a half of transcription is just insane. That you would, for the price, it definitely makes sense. Paid 40 for header and footer. Okay, how much do you pay for an article? Tomorrow, it all depends. I mean, articles are different. You could, tomorrow, if you want a lot of articles done, I would hire somebody on an hourly basis, get a good article writer. I have a full-time article writer that posts to a lot of the blogs I do. A lot of my customers that I keep a consistent blog posting, basically writes 250-word articles every day to all my blogs. And full-time for the entire month is $400. And he's posting, I'm trying to think how many articles a day he does. I want to say close to 16 because he does about 2 an hour. So just $400 for the entire month, and I don't even have to worry about my blogs. They get filled, and my customers stay happy. But tomorrow, if you just want to outsource an article, you can do a posting for an article. If you want to get a good person, I mean, you can pay anywhere from $1 to $5 to, it depends on what kind of article and the content you're looking for. Mark, at those prices, could order 2 and use the better of the 2? Like, absolutely, Mark, you're absolutely right. With the cost of with that cost, you're right. You could do split testing where you could order 2 different. I'm guessing you're talking about the covers. That you could order different covers and see maybe one of them is going to sell better, like we talked about, trying to have 2 books up there. Jim, so the software is not limited. Go one piece. Yeah, you're allowed. I believe you have 2 licenses, so if you had an outsourcer, you could send them a copy of the software so that they could do the articles, do the books for you. Let's see. Faye, do they ask anything from you before they create your work request? If you're talking about Odesk and you put the job out there, no. I mean, you have to sign up your account, and that's it. It's just like creating an account, and then you'll link like a credit card to it for payment purposes, and that's it. Once you're signed up, you can post a job, and you can hire somebody immediately. Like you all could join tonight to Odesk and post a job and hire somebody this evening. Then when they complete the job, you go in, you put job completed, and you pay them. You hit the pay button and leave some feedback, and that's it. You're done. It's really that simple to hire somebody. Tomorrow, if you use a pen name, what would you put on the back then? I probably, like my book I had, because it's about me and I'm the actual author, so I have my picture and it's about the author. So on the back of a book that I didn't have an author stuff, you're just going to put more information about the book. You're going to grab maybe a few bullet points about the book or a general paragraph or synopsis about your book that would, draw people into the book. Let's see, if we purchase this as, do we need to pay the, we're going to have to check on that, Michelle. Send an email to Quadcast support about that, and we'll see what we can do to get you taken care of. I'm guessing you'd want to upgrade and get the software and stuff that wasn't included in the initial package. Kit, yes, this is recorded. I did start it a little late. I think I missed the first 5 or 10 minutes, but I tried to do a recap. But it is being recorded now, and everybody will have access to the recording. Okay, Fran, how do I get the boxes in Microsoft Word that have the headings? It depends. Like this is version the 2007 version. And it automatically is up there for me. If you have an older version, you should still have the ability to highlight text and tag it as a heading. Like I can highlight this text and just make it a heading. I would have to look at an older version to tell you that for sure, or Open Office. I just know in this version, right on my home page of this, the headings and everything, I can change all the stuff right up here. Okay, let's see. Tomorrow. Okay, Kate, a few minutes later. You're going to provide the links to information. Yeah, Kate. Everything will be the PDF and everything that we covered. You're going to have that, and you'll be able to download the recording tomorrow as well. Okay, so that's our audio section. Okay, Wendell. I've noticed that sometimes the PR articles repeat some of the same information in different chapters. Good to read over. Yeah, you're right, Wendell. Sometimes you have duplicate where one article may map over into another. So yeah, I would recommend that you even if you grab 12, 15 articles, just that, you're going to proofread it, make sure it sounds right before you publish it, but that's definitely a good point. Jim, the book is not even live. That's why I asked you not to tell anybody or say anything, because it's actually kind of it hasn't been published yet. I submitted it, I approved it, but it's not even on Amazon. My proof copies actually should be here either, I'm hoping, tomorrow or the next day. So it isn't even live yet, but I'll keep everybody posted. But my idea wasn't really to sell it. The whole concept behind that book is for my offline clients. I've decided to take on a few more offline clients, and what I do for those clients is I typically do SEO work where I help them get ranked on Google. So I wanted a book that I could send, and just imagine, you're sending this book to somebody. Like I said, it gives you authority, it creates you as an expert, and I'm going to sign a copy, and the way it really stands out is I take a little yellow sticky note, I put it on the front cover, and I'll put their name, like, to Jim from Key, thought you could use this. So it makes it personal. So they get this. Here's this president of the company. He gets this. They open it because it goes in like a, if any of you have gotten your proof copies from Amazon, they come in like a cardboard box, and I save all those when I get my proof copies. So these are it's going to stand out. It's not going to be just an envelope. So here's this president. He gets this present from me. He opens it up. He sees this book. Here's the author that autographed the book for him. On the back cover is the price of my book, so it has value. And then a few days later, I call him, and then I set up an appointment. So like I said, usually over about 80% of the time, I get that meeting because they're just so impressed that, here's this expert in the industry that sent them this free book, and now I want to meet with them, so of course they want to meet with me. So yeah, I'm not too concerned about book sales. It should still probably do pretty well, but that wasn't my goal by publishing it. All right, let's move on. Chuck, have you ever published a book using books from the public domain? Chuck, I haven't. I thought about that and I looked at those, but I honestly, to this date, I have not. I haven't published any. I haven't grabbed any public domain book. Not to say you can't, because as long as it's public domain, you can publish it. As long as you leave it intact and you follow the rules, you can't put author's name on. You just have to follow the guidelines. You still have to give credit to the original author. But you can publish, old books like Call in the Wild, War of the Worlds, those kind of things like that. You can publish those books and sell them. They get republished all the time by people, and they sell them. You'll find them at Walmart and Target and all over the place. So yeah, if you have an outlet where you can do that, you can definitely publish public domain books. Elaine, is this person from Odesk? I'm guessing you're asking about the graphic designer. And yes, that's where I hired her from, Odesk. All right, let's see. Thanks. Okay. Jim G, check styles and formatting. Not quite. Okay, so I guess people were telling me where to under view header and foot. Okay, there's the Tamar. Thanks. Okay, let's. Faye, the sheet with all the links you showed at the opening of the webinar, when can we? I'll put up the link here at the end to show you where that sheet's on there already. The webinar is not, so you guys will be able to get that tonight, or with that actual link. Let's see, Elaine, person who posts to your social site, is that a person? No, Elaine, that person that does my article writing. We actually have, Rob and I have a team, and we have a project manager, and they're based out of the Philippines. So a lot of times I'll go to my project manager, and I'll ask her, I'll say, I want an article writer, or I want this. She didn't happen to be around the other day. I think she was off because I think it was Saturday when I wanted my book cover design. So I went to Odesk. But typically I'll go to her, and so no, that article writer, he's in the Philippines, but he works directly on our team. Through our project manager, because we hired a project manager and she manages all our people. So I don't even deal with the article writer. Our project manager handles all that. All right, let's see. Fran, for setting price on books, check what books are selling for. Yeah, absolutely, Fran. That's a good idea to check your market, check other books, check the top 10 for your niche, your market. See what the general price range is, and then you definitely want to be in that same ballpark for you to compete in that market. All right, Marcus, when using PLR, do you have to rewrite the content? Marcus, you don't have to rewrite it, but like some other people made the statements, and it's definitely a good idea to proofread it to make sure it reads properly and to make sure you don't have duplication, because it is possible that you had one article with a different title and it may have a little bit of crossover content. So you definitely want to just read through it, make sure everything sounds okay. You can make a few changes. Maybe you just refresh it a little bit, just do a little bit of rewriting, just to maybe bring it up to like a 2010 version. Maybe the article's a year or two old. So you may just want to just double check that. That's, but you can basically use it as is with some minor updates. Faye, do you include a cover letter with your book when you mail it out? No, Faye, actually what I do is exactly what I told you. I take the book, I sign the inside of the book, and then on the front of the book I take a yellow sticky note. And this has been proven. I've done split tests with this, and it's been proven that the sticky note tends to get more attention and tends to get more response than a professional letter, than any of that stuff, because a sticky note on things actually tends to stand out, and people tend to take more action because it's more personal. So I'll put a sticky note right on the front of the book, and I'll take the person's name. If his name's Jim, I'll say, "To Jim, from Keith, thought this would help your business." So it's a personal note from him to him, and that's all I do. So I don't, and there's contact information for me in the book, but I don't put a business card, I don't put a form letter, I don't do any type of stuff like that. I keep it personal, because most businesses, people want to deal with people. I mean, everybody sees the explosion in Facebook and Twitter and all that. People want to deal with people. They don't want to deal with the face of a company. He doesn't want to deal with my company. He wants to deal with me. So here's this person, this published author, this expert in the field. He sent him a personal little note, a little sticky tab saying, "Hey, Jim, thought you could use this book." That's it. I'm not selling him anything at that point. I'm just a guy, an expert, a published author that's sending this guy a free copy of a $28 book. So there's no sales to it whatsoever. So I would keep it personal and as less professional as possible, because there's no reason for it. I think it's professional enough with the way it's done. Let's see, Jim. Okay, before our books go live, is it mandatory for a proof copy? If so, that's how Amazon has at least one customer. Yes, Jim, you are required, when you do publish your book, you do have to order a proof copy before you can make the book live. Now, here's a little trick. If you want to get your book published quickly, and you don't want to wait for your proof copy, and a lot of the international people, I'll tell this too, because sometimes it takes longer for shipping. I would, when you bring your PDF file up, let me show you this, because I think this is a neat little trick I do. Because a lot of times when I do a book, I don't want to wait for the proof copy to come. I just want to get the book published, so I want to get it out there. This is a book that we did the other day as a sample. But when you have your PDF file, you can go into View, and you can do Page Display, and you can do 2-up. So what I'll do a lot of times is, this is kind of how I'll proof my book. I'll make sure everything lines up here, and I'll start to arrow down through the pages. I see my table, everything looks good there, everything lines up. Then I'll start to look across the top here. Are these lined up? Am I missing a space? And then you'll see if anything, because you can kind of quickly scan this. Okay, these look good, this looks good, everything lines up. The paragraphs, I got spacing. So you can see how you can quickly, now your titles are going to go a little bit lower than your actual body text. But this is a quick way to see, I can flip through this book kind of quick, make sure everything looks formatted right. If I feel comfortable, I proofread it, everything lines up, it looks good, you don't have to wait for your proof copy to get in your hand. As soon as you order that proof copy, you can go right back into CreateSpace and click Approve Proof. That is going to make your book live. So you don't have to wait to get that proof copy in your hand. Now, if you get the proof copy and maybe you find a typo or a spacing that you don't like, you can go back in, you just put the book on hold, and then you upload a new PDF file and make the changes to whatever is wrong. So you don't have to wait for that proof copy. All right, so we covered Jim. Let's keep going down. Todd, did you say to put the first page of the new chapter on an odd number page? It would be. Yes, that's something we found, Todd. That's another little neat trick, and we've looked at a lot of books that we put the we make sure each new chapter is on an odd page. So you just go down and you make sure all you have to do is, if your new chapter starts on an even page, you can you can insert a page. Like, let's say this is an even page, which it is, page 4. All I have to do is insert, and on Word I do page break. See, I just put a blank page in. Now this chapter starts on page 5, because that way all the books flow, and all your chapters are going to be on the side of the page, and it just looks a little more organized. All right. Okay, where are we here? Did you say okay? Alex, will you be emailing link to webinar? Yes, Alex, we will be sending that out. I'm actually going to give you the page that the PDF is, and the replay will be on there. Hopefully, we'll have it up there tomorrow for you. Okay, Keith. Apparently, Keith, you decided to write a nice long paragraph for me here. Let's try to get through this for you here. Could you clarify for me the following? The following is taken from. Okay, this is your. Okay, so you had the. I remember seeing your email about Morgafile. Honestly, I don't use that site too often. I don't think that's the main site I use, the Morgafile. Keith is referring to the terms of service. I'm understanding correctly, you'd need to manipulate somehow before uploading this. That I would have to check into further, Keith. He's talking about the copyright that they're stating, whether you can just take the picture and upload it to your book. That's something. I don't think I actually used that site, but it's one we gave out. So we'll have to look into that further to see if there's any. We'll have to double check that. I want to make a note of that right now here to see if we can get you a clear answer on Morgafile. All right, pictures. Let me just write that down so I have it here. Okay. Tomorrow, should you rewrite the PLR base book in a conversational? I mean, tomorrow you can write it however you'd like, however you want the book to sound. There's no right or wrong answer to that. Let's see, do they ring you up after you send them to a book, or do you wait? Tomorrow, typically, I believe you're talking about when I send out the books for offline clients. A lot of times I will. Because my phone number, my contact information is in the book, because at the back page I say for more information, I give them my website and my phone number. So a lot of times they'll call and they'll thank me for the book. So yes, there's times that I don't even have to make the phone call to try to get in there, calling me and like, thanking me for the book. And then I'm like, oh, you got it, it's great. Hey, why don't we get together? I'll give you some other ideas for your business. And next thing you know, we're sitting down, and I give them some ideas, and they're like, look, what would it cost for you just to implement these things for me? They're a specialist in what they do. I'm a specialist in what I do. So 9 times out of 10, they're just like, hey, just can you make this happen for me? And that's, it goes from there. Jim, that sounds like a much better way. All right, Keith. I live in Canada, so do you have a suggestion as to how I can put my book on Kindle? Would I need a Gmail, Yahoo email account with an IP address? I'm not familiar enough with Kindle to tell you if there's restrictions. I'm guessing there may be, possibly there's some restrictions on where you are, but I'm not sure. I would have to look into Kindle more. I honestly haven't. I found that link and stuff, and I know there's a Kindle download with the download stuff. But I haven't personally actually added any of my books to Kindle, so I can't answer that offhand without looking it up to see if Kindle is country specific or not. But let me make another note on Kindle here about the countries. Okay. Tomorrow, okay, Jim, just for validation, has feedback from your prior show and success from any book sales? I haven't, the program actually just launched, Jim, in the last, June, or we're in June now, May, I think 5th was the first time, so the program has only been live for just barely 30 days. I have not had feedback. We're going to be gathering that information. As per like with the books you saw on the author page and stuff, but as of right now I don't have any of that information to give it to you. If I did, I would. Okay, let's see. Mark is asking if they haven't found a better way to get for Richard than yes, which is best for. If there's any other international people on the call, Mark is asking, and this would be get some good feedback, is there any other non-U.S. members, if they found a better way to get paid royalties for trade space than the U.S. $50 check? I guess they have a minimum $50 check or a maximum $50 check. I'm not quite sure how there are restrictions on it. which is expensive for non-U.S. people to cash in. All right, I mean, you have to live in the U.S. Yeah, I would, if anybody out there internationally has experience with that and they want to either, I don't see anything popping up now, but if anybody international on the call and you've had experience with that, with your royalty checks, if you want to send in an email to quadcashsupport@gmail.com, Mark, I'll try to collect anything, and we'll try to look, and I'm going to make another note on that, royalty payments, international, $50. Okay, I want to make a note of that too for Mark. And okay, I got you there, Mark. Let me make sure. How much are the royalty? Tomorrow the royalty payments all vary. I mean, the royalty payments depend on the price of your book and how many copies you sell each month. So it all varies as to the success of each book you have. There's just no, there's no exact royalty payment. It all depends on how much you decide to charge for the book as well. The percentage-wise, I believe it's 41. I think it's right around 40 or 41% of the selling price of the book is what you receive as a royalty. So for like a $17 book, you would receive $7. All right, okay. All right. So it looks like, unless anybody else has any questions, we're coming up on about 9:15. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure you guys have, let me close out this other stuff. Yeah, if you want the page for the authors now, just as a last call for any of you that have published using the system, and you want to be on the published authors page, make sure you send an email to quadcashsupport@gmail.com, and in the subject line put published author. Then in the body, just put a link to your CreateSpace. If it's not live on Amazon, just give us the CreateSpace link, or if it's on Amazon, you can give us that link, and we will make sure to get you on this page with these other published authors. The training link, the PDF file, is live right now. If you go to quadcashprofitsystem.com/training, I'm going to put this in the chat window for everybody so you can click on it. But if you go to quadcashprofitsystem.com/training, you can get to that link. The PDF file's there, and that's some of the links we covered earlier about the author page and the Kindle page, as well as some of the other forum sites you can join as an author to get more publicity for your book. I'm recording this, so it's actually, I should be able to get the file processed and hopefully up and on this same page. I'm hoping to get it up tomorrow, and then we'll make it so people can just download it. That way you'll have it on your computer and you can watch it and review the stuff back. So if nobody else has any more questions, we're going to wrap up, and next week we have the same call. I'm going to double check you should still be able to be registered. I believe I set it up. If I didn't, I'm going to I'll send out another registration link to everybody. But we're going to do it at the same time next Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Will be recorded, and we're just going to continue to update this training page, and we'll end up having all 4 weeks right on here. If we didn't get your question covered tonight, you got quadcashsupport@gmail.com. If the help desk can't help you, they will forward it to myself or Rob, and we will do our best to get you squared away. So does anybody else have any further questions? It looks like everybody has jumped in. Great stuff. All right, thanks, Jim, Wendell, Tamar. All right, looks like everybody is good. So good night, Faye. Thanks for being on the call. Marjorie, Joyce. We certainly, Kit. All right, Kit, thank you. Thank you for being on the call. I appreciate everybody, Alex. I appreciate everybody being on the call. And like I said, if you have any other questions, or if you do have that book published, please get us at quadcashsupport@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a good night.